as enumerated in the Constitution. So first ground. Ito po yung facts in relation to VP Sara's anomalous disbursements of confidential funds as Vice President and head of the Office of the Vice President. Covered po ito ng paragraphs 20 to 71, pages 4 to 25 of the complaint. Makikita niyo po sa screen yung mga specific examples or specific allegations of facts na nandito po sa complaint. Sa aking pong presentasyon ngayon, I tried to paraphrase these averments para mas naiintindihan, mga tinagalog ko nga po yung iba, para naintindihan. So it's just really an overview of what you see in the screen as constituting the allegations of facts. So sinasabi po, barely months into office, on August 22, 2022, VP Sara requested 250 million in confidential funds from the DBM for the OVP's good governance program, supposedly. That's paragraphs 22 to 23. Only 125 million was approved for release in the last quarter of 2022. That's paragraph 24. Itong 125 million na ito ay in-encash, inilagay sa 4 na traveling bags at dinala sa OVP. That's paragraph 27. Sa utos umano ni VP Sara, iniabot ito kay Colonel Raymond Dante Lachica at ibinigay sa ibang tao. That's under paragraphs 27 and 31. So kasama po yan sa ninalaman ng affidavit ni Ramil Madriaga, which is Annex A. Para mapagtakpan kung saan napunta ang 125 million ayon sa ulat ng OVP, sa loob ng 11 araw, ang perang ito ay na-disburse sa mga safe houses, rewards, supplies, aid, and travel. That's paragraph 38. Nilagdaan ni VP Sarang liquidation report, paragraph 39, Annex B, at pinatotohanan legal ang paggamit ng pondo, paragraph 40, Annex C. Naglabas ang COA ng Audit Observation Memoranda, AOMs, dahil sa kakulangan ng documentary evidence of payments or yung DEPs sa mga disbursements, paragraphs 42 to 44. Nanatili ang deficiencies, kabilang ang questionableng reward payments at paggamit ng pondo para sa ilang items tulad ng tables, chairs at desktop computers na walang malinaw na kaugnayan sa confidential operations. That's paragraphs 46 to 7. Ang nakakapagduda, ang 158 acknowledgement receipts ay may petsang December 2023, isang taon matapos ang sinasabing disbursement, habang ang iba pa ay walang petsa. That's paragraphs 48 to 49. Dahil dito, naglabas ang COA ng Notice of Suspension at Notice of Disallowance na sumasaklaw sa 73,287,000. Paragraphs 51, 53, Annex E. Bukod dito, noong 2023, 3 beses pang nag-withdraw ang OVP ng TIG 125 million na may kabuang halaga na 375 million. That's paragraphs 55 to 57. Noong 2024, muling napansin ng COA ang kakulangan sa dokumentasyon, paragraph 58. Sa House investigation po, before the House Committee on Good Government and Accountability, lumitaw ang mga resibong pirmado ng mga pangalang nakakaduda. Milky Sequia, Kokoy Villamin, Mary Grace Piatos, at marami pa, na may inconsistencies as hindi matukoy na identity, may ilang pangalan na walang PSA records, may mga resibo na hindi mabasa, walang petsa, o nagpapakita ng mahigit 100 disbursements sa isang araw, kabilang ang mga resibong nakapetsa sa panahong wala pa ang pondo. That's paragraphs 61 to 69. What began as a 125 million confidential fund release evolved into repeated cash withdrawals, unsupported liquidations, audit findings, and disallowances. Hindi po ito isolated incident. The allegations describe a continuing pattern of disbursement without verifiable documentation, raising questions on accountability in the use of confidential public funds. These are pleaded facts of documentary irregularities and simulated liquidation. Madam Chair, these allegations, specific amounts, specific control, specific certifications, specific COA actions, spurious receipts, fictitious identities, continuing disallowances, and obstruction are ultimate facts. Kung ipagpapalagay na totoo, yung mga alegasyon na pong yan, they constitute culpable violation of plunder through malversation, technical malversation, graft and corruption, other high crimes, and betrayal of public trust. With the permission of this honorable committee, itatay up ko na po sa specific grounds yung mga ultimate facts o yung mga essential factual averments. Culpable violation of the Constitution. So, a culpable violation is not a mere technical breach. Ito ay sinasadya at mulat na pagsasawalang bahala sa tungkuling konstitusyonal. Inaasahan sa mga opisyal na maging tapat sa tungkulin at sumunod sa batas. The complaint pleads ultimate facts, as I said, of custody, control, and affirmative acts. Paragraphs 149, 151, and 153 further allege that VP Sara was the accountable officer for over 500 million pesos and that no disbursement could occur without her approval. Paragraphs 154 to 155 allege she directed the preparation and encashment and delivery of 125 million. These are not passive omissions. These are affirmative exercises of authority. The complaint further alleges repeated COA audit findings, a notice of suspension and disallowance, backdated acknowledgement receipts, and non-existent signatories, and alleged interference with congressional inquiry. Taken together, control, approval, audit red flags, simulated documentation, and alleged obstruction, these pleaded facts, if admitted as true, constitute a willful breach of constitutional fiduciary duty. Graft and corruption. Kung ipagpapalagay na totoo ang mga alegasyon, pumapasok ito sa Section 3E ng RA 3019. Ang pag-encash at pag-disburse ng 125 million sa opisyal na kapasidad, kasabay ng backdated receipts, fictitious names, at paulit-ulit na COA findings ay nagpapakita ng evident bad faith. At dahil may hindi bababa sa 73 million na may notice of disallowance, malinaw na may undue injury to the government. Ang ganitong pattern ng unsupported disbursement ay sapat upang bumuo ng graft and corruption. Other high crimes. Alam niyo po, ang other high crimes, just like betrayal of public trust, more encompassing, because these are not confined, high crimes are not confined to technical penal definitions. They encompass serious misconduct that fundamentally undermines constitutional governance, including any act, omission, or course of conduct that renders a public official unworthy to remain in office. Kabilang dito ang mga gawain o asal ng mga opisyal na maaaring maging pamantayan para tanggalin sa katungkulan. Ang maling paggamit ng confidential funds, simulated liquidation, at paghadlang sa mga mekanismo ng oversight ay tuwirang nagpapapurol sa mekanismo ng pananagutan ng mga institusyon. If admitted as true, such conduct erodes confidence in high office and disrupts the faithful execution of the laws, which makes the VP unworthy to remain in office, that rises to the level of other high crimes. Betrayal of public trust does not require penal conviction. It asks whether the alleged conduct renders the official unworthy of the trust reposed in the office. Confidential funds operate largely on institutional trust. Kung ang 500 million ay inilabas ng cash, may questionableng dokumentasyon, paulit-ulit na na-flag ng COA at sinundan pa ng umano'y pakikialam sa oversight, kung ipagpapalagay na totoo ang mga ito ay malinaw na pagtataksil sa tiwala ng bayan. That is not an administrative lapse. That is gross faithlessness in the stewardship of public funds. That in dealing with the issue on sufficiency in substance, we do not really inquire first into the evidence. But of course, in terms of really substantiating the essential grounds, the essential facts as pleaded, we can always check whether there are supporting evidence or annexes as submitted, as attached to the complaint, and later to be supplemented by other evidence in the proper time. And the proper time is during the evidentiary hearings. Kasi pagkatapos ko kasi ng pag-file ng answer, pag-file ng reply, pag-file ng rejoinder kung meron, pwede pa hong magdagdag ng mga ebidensya, including affidavits doon. So just to satisfy the gentleman that, yes, we have supporting documents, supporting evidence. So what we have are photocopies of certified true copies of those documents. These are the liquidation reports, the accomplishment reports of the OVP, the COA notices of disallowances, the OVP certification, the OVP accomplishment reports, letter to Chair Cordoba, mga documents evidencing payments, the photocopies of the documents evidencing payments, at doon nga yung mga nakikita rin yung mga fictitious names. So there are sample DEPs or documents evidencing payments, and then the audit observation of COA, other certifications of DepEd. No, we're not into DepEd yet. So we're under the first ground, the anomalous disbursement of the confidential funds allocated to the Office of the Vice President as the VP, as head of office. So meron po, dito po, nakalakip, naka-attached, most or many of those documentary evidence, pero ngayon, photocopies lang muna ang pinipresent dito o inattach dito sa ating complaint, sa third complaint. Because when we talk about culpable violation of the Constitution, we are centered on the principle of public office is a public trust. And therefore, if there's a betrayal of public trust, that is a culpable violation of the Constitution. Saka yung gusto ko rin pong sabihin for the record, yung mga sinasabi na she's not really accountable. The real accountable officers are the disbursement officers and the other members, for example, of the finance department of the Office of the Vice President. But I maintain my position that she is the ultimate responsible officer. And in fact, I just got a list of the annexes where nandyan yung mga signature ni VP Sara, annexes C, D, D-1, F, G, H, H-1, I-1, Q, R, R-1, R-2, S, S-1, S-2, T, and V3, V-3. Those documents attached to the complaint, and these are certified, and these are photocopies of the original, are there showing the participation, the knowledge of VP Sara. Now there is a testimony again, as I mentioned earlier, that there's disbursement that are highly questionable and illegal. These are also meant for persons not within the contemplation of the spending or expenditure of the confidential and intelligence funds of any office. So betrayal of public trust, I agree, this is the strongest ground that encompasses all of the other allegations subsumed in this ground number 1.
Representative De Lima, I noticed that with respect to the 125 million that was spent from December 21 up to December 31, 2022, there were 2 documents that were signed directly by the Vice President. One is a liquidation report attached as Annex B to the complaint. And the certification, the signature of the Vice President appears below the words certified, purpose of cash advance duly accomplished. And I believe that I would like to hear from the endorser the significance of that, because to me, that is not only an issue of command responsibility, that is a direct certification made by the Vice President that the cash advances of 125 million, which were spent only in a period of 10 days, the purpose was duly accomplished. Second, there is another annex, Annex C, which also bears the signature of the Vice President, a certification where it is stated that the expenses, again, the 125 million spent in December of 2022, those expenses were incurred in connection with the agency's intelligence and/or confidential operations and activities. And that document is signed, again, by the Vice President and under the word attested. So I would like to hear from the endorser what she thinks is the significance of these two documents signed directly by the Vice President. Thank you.
Certification, the attested, well, correct. That is more than just command responsibility, but is in fact direct knowledge with the direct information as to the contents of the certification, that these are used for certain supposedly lawful purposes, but they turned out to be not so in accordance with the audit, with the COA audit memoranda. The findings also that came out during the hearings before the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. So this is personal and direct knowledge and supporting the veracity, establishing supposedly the veracity of the contents, again, of the certification. So she perfectly knows that what were included in the certifications turned out to be not the legal purposes for confidential funds.
Just for the record, Honorable De Lima, kindly restate the content of the certification.
Yes, Madam Chair. We hereby certify that the amount of 125 million pesos was incurred by the undersigned in connection with safe implementation of OVP initiatives and confidence building from the cash advance drawn on December 20, 2022 in the total amount of 125 million. We further certify that A, the certifying officer or employee is accountable for the disbursement from the cash advances of CF and/or IF. B, the expenses were incurred in connection with the agency's intelligence and/or confidential operations and activities, with supporting documents attached to the liquidation of CF, and for the IF, documentary evidence of payments kept in sealed envelope in the vault in the office of the SDO. C, the details and supporting documents of transactions that are classified are in the custody of the agency and kept in the vault, which may be inspected by IFCAU if the circumstances so demand. D, the funds are not used for payment of salaries and wages, overtime, additional compensation, allowance, or other fringe benefits of officials and employees, representation, entertainment expenses, consultancy fees, and construction or acquisition of buildings or housing structures. E, the purchase of equipment is relevant to the confidential and/or intelligence activities, and the expenses are necessary and utilized for legal purposes. Signed, Special Disbursing Officer Gina Acosta, attested Sara Duterte, Vice President. So he's fully aware, she attested to the fact that there were such expenses, but it turned out that many of them were not really meant for the supposed legal purposes, objectives of intelligence and confidential funds, as it turned out during those hearings, based also on certain testimonies from the disbursing officer and other officials, accountable officials of the Office of the Vice President.
Let us assuming tama po yung sinasabi ni Congressman Bong Suntay na tama po siya kanina. Ito nga pong mga pondo, kung paano po tinransfer sa OBP, talaga naman pong doon po, wala naman tayo nakikita talagang pagkakamali pa. And in fact, trabaho po to ng Vice President as head of agency, mag-disburse, tama po ba? Lahat po ng mga dokumento, pumirma kung ano po dapat niyang pirmahan. Tama po naman po yun. Subalit po, kung titignan po natin, dito po sa paragraph 27, sabi po dito, the cash was placed into 4 traveling bags and brought to the OBP on the same day. Thereafter, BP Sara instructed Acosta to release the 125 million pesos to Colonel La Chica. At dito po, sabi po dito, Acosta, pursuant to VP's instruction, personally gave Colonel La Chica the full amount of 125 million pesos. Now, my question is, ang SDO po ay si Acosta. Ano po ang papel ni Colonel La Chica dito po sa 125? And that is upon the instruction of the Vice President. Dito po ba, wala po tayong nakikitang diferensya? Now, if I remember it correctly, during the committee hearing, marami po nagtanong, after La Chica, ano na? Yun, dito po natin makikita ngayon, papasok yung statement ni Madriaga. The affidavit of Ramil Madriaga, which was attached as Annex A of this complaint affidavit, or dito po sa impeachment complaint, which can be found on page 13. At dito po sa statement ni Ramil Madriaga, sinabi po niya, and I quote, makikita po dito yung conversation sa page 29, sa paragraph 29, 30, 31, 32. Sabi po dito, Colonel Dennis Nolasco sent a certain Ramil Madriaga a text message instructing him to see the former. So Madriaga went to see Colonel Nolasco at Ultra Pasig City. He arrived at the place around 1:30 p.m. Next, they waited for Colonel La Chica. Ito na po si Colonel La Chica. In 2 DepEd vehicles that ultimately arrived past 3 p.m. Upon arriving, Colonel La Chica brought 4 duffel bags containing millions of peso. So ito na po yung duffel bags na winidraw po nila sa Land Bank at binibigay ngayon kay Madriaga. In particular, paragraph 32, Colonel La Chica instructed Madriaga to deliver a duffel bag to a mayor in Laguna. Hindi ko po alam kung yung mayor po may kinalaman sa intelligence gathering. So Madriaga delivered it to a certain individual at Cabuyao, Laguna. Then he was told by Colonel La Chica to deliver another duffel bag to a comedy bar owned and frequented by San Sebastian Law alumni located in the Timog area. Paragraph 33. When Madriaga arrived at the place, he saw OBP spokesperson Raymond Munsayak. Parenthetically, Munsayak was BP Sara's classmate. Subsequently, Munsayak signaled Madriaga to go upstairs and leave the money at the office. He followed suit and left. Munsayak did not speak to him. Paragraph 34 says, next, Madriaga drove a car to the parking compound of the office of the Ombudsman. He also brought another duffel bag of money and placed it inside the car. When he arrived at the Ombudsman compound, a guard signaled for him to park in a specific reserved spot, and he did. He placed the keys on top of the left front wheel and left. He then saw someone retrieve the keys and drive the car away. Within the same period, Colonel Nolasco gave Madriaga a white Toyota Vios with money in the amount of around 80 million pesos Following Colonel Nolasco's instruction, Madriaga drove the white Vios to a parking lot inside SM Mega Mall, parked and locked the car, placed the keys on top of the left front wheel, and moved away. He then waited for someone who retrieved the keys and drove off. On another day, Madriaga saw the same motor Vios driven by the wife of Ombudsman Prosecutor Ryan Ray Kilala, named Rhea, who was a classmate of BP Sara at San Sebastian Law. Now,
If I may interrupt, Honorable Chua, you are more than 5 minutes,
yes,
so
I will
kindly
wrap,
wind up.
I will already wrap up my statement. Madam Chair, dito po yung sinasabi kanina ni Congressman Rupos na conspiracy. So dito na po napunta yung sinasabi po ni Congressman na hinahanap po natin kanina yung 125 million with all the documents. Kaya po yung COA naglabas ng AOM, naglabas ng kung ano-ano mga pangalan na eventually nakita po natin yung mga pangalan ay hindi makita ngayon. So ito na po yung sagot sa tanong kung saan po napunta yung pera na binigay kay La Chica. Based po ito sa affidavit ni Madriaga, which is attached in this complaint. So therefore, there is a recital of facts which constitutes the offense charged. Thank you po.
Who are these personalities? Nolasco and La Chica. You read that from the affidavit.
They are both, I think, security details of the Vice President.
Nolasco and La Chica.
Yes.
Thank you. Would you like to comment, Honorable De Lima?
Yung mga ninarrate po na based on the complaint ni Honorable Congressman Chua, pinapakita po na yung 125 million na yon hindi napunta sa dapat puntahan ng such a sensitive funds as confidential or intelligence funds. We can actually say that this were simply appropriated by VP Sara for her personal gain. Kapag hindi napunta dun sa dapat puntahan, at sabi nga sa affidavit ni Ramil Madriaga, ay ito ay napunta sa iba-ibang tao na ano ba sila? Hindi naman sila part of anything. Wala namang sinabi, there was no report, neither the Vice President nor the OVP reported any loss of the 125 million confidential funds. Dahil nga, napunta sa mga ganyan. So that is actually personal gain for our own personal purposes, whatever it is. Bakit napunta dun sa mga personalidad na yon as testified to by Colonel La Chica and Colonel Nolasco, which are part of the Office of the Vice President Security Detail. These are actually the head. Nolasco is the head, and also La Chica is, sila talaga yung mga supposedly pagkakatiwalaan ng Vice President. And so, it shows personal gain. Gusto ko lang pong sabihin at this point, na tungkol naman po sa plunder, yes, I agree that it's more of a conspiracy. So it's a better, it's a better theory than just plunder, because plunder committed through conspiracy. Let us remember po na pang malversation of public funds, it's plunder committed through a series of acts of malversation. So a series of acts of malversation can lead to plunder, especially if it meets the monetary threshold of 50 million or more than 50 million. Thank you.